Good day. My name is Cecily Morrison, and I'm a principal researcher at Microsoft Research in Cambridge, UK. And I lead Project Tokyo, which has the mission of creating technical innovation and human-centric AI through building, deploying, and studying novel AI-infused experiences that imagine the future of our inclusive society. Now, novel AI-infused technologies can give children with blindness the opportunity to explore concepts using alternative perceptual modalities that would otherwise be learned incidentally through vision. So the PeopleLens is such a system, and it enables children born blind to experience social agency and develop a range of social attention skills needed to initiate and maintain interactions. So it uses AI and a head-mounted augmented reality device to provide the user with a dynamic, real-time understanding of their immediate social environment through spatial audio. So tracking, identifying, and detecting gaze of people around the wearer. But innovating technology for children with disabilities is not enough. Effort is needed to support the meaningful use of such technological innovations for evaluations at scale and later widespread adoption. Now, this is particularly true for technological innovations that enable self-exploration, as opposed to providing access to existing infrastructure. So our discussion today is grounded in the development and piloting of an accompanying curriculum of games for the PeopleLens that can be played with peers and facilitated by educators. So while social skills curriculums exist for children with blindness, they don't account for the opportunity of AI technology or its constraints. So in this talk, I'm going to cover 4 main contributions, but I do direct you to the paper to get the details of the study done. So these contributions are an example of a curriculum, design guidelines for researchers creating curricula, measuring efficacy of AI technologies, and the ways that we can think about supporting meaningful use. Our first key contribution is an example of a curriculum developed to account for both the new opportunities as well as the new constraints that the PeopleLens afforded. So let's take the example of the Maestro game. In this game, peers sit around a table, each with an instrument or sound, and the user looks at people in sequence to create a piece of music as they each play their sound when looked at. Now, in doing so, the user learns to build up a spatial map or a people map of those people around them. This is a key underlying skill to build up spatial attention. It's a new opportunity that the technology presents. But the choice to have peers sitting down encourages the best performance from the AI system, a new constraint that the system also presents. Our second contribution comes out of reflecting upon the design and pilot process. We offer 4 design guidelines for researchers creating curricula. Assessing the boundary between enablement and prescription, empowering educations to adapt the curriculum, fostering mutual experience with peers, and explicitly accommodating technological limitation. So let me speak to the third one. We specifically focused on creating games that would be fun for both the user and the peers. And more than that, we encouraged all of the people participating to take a turn at wearing the PeopleLens system. In that way, experiencing the world from a strong auditory perspective and not just the visual perspective that the peers may be used to. Now, our third contribution comes in a discussion around understanding and measuring efficacy of AI technologies for diverse, low-incidence disabilities. Now, this is a real challenge, but let me take just one point from the larger discussion in the paper. Now, when we're developing our evaluations, in an effort for internal validity, we often put emphasis on evaluating technologies with a homogeneous group. Now, this is first extremely difficult in a diverse and a low-incidence group like those with blindness. Indeed, it's quite possible to often marginalize further those that can really benefit from the technology. So we must be both ethical and aware of the diversity of our users when choosing inclusion criteria for studies, to ensure that we don't unnecessarily exclude those people who are often already excluded in the name of science. Our final contribution is to think about the role of our community. Our community has historically limited its focus to the design and engineering of technologies, but we illustrate in this paper how interconnected technological development is with meaningful usage as well as the assessment of efficacy. So we'd really encourage the ASECS community to widen the scope of discourse around assistive technologies to include approaches that support their meaningful use as well. Now, to close this presentation, we'd like to highlight the opportunity our community has to challenge the status quo. Our community has a rising discourse about using technology to challenge the status quo by empowering people with disabilities to more actively shape the potential of the technologies that they use. But this is going to be really difficult to achieve if technologies are slotted into an existing ecosystem that supports a model of medicalization of disability. So to change that status quo, we must put more thought and energy into supporting meaningful use, as well as assessing efficacy in ways that amplify the design principles of the technologies that we innovate. And I'll finish with thanking the large multidisciplinary team that has made this work possible, and I'm very happy to take any questions that you might have.